The more we reduce ourselves to machines in the lower things, the more force we shall set free to use in the higher. Fuck, that's good. Let's be honest, we know why you're here. You're a business owner and you want to learn how to build automations. And I'm here to show you the fastest way to do it. Maybe I'll sprinkle in some buzzwords like API or artificial intelligence, but the point is, you're in the right place. There are hundreds of ways you can learn to automate these days. There's a bunch of different tools, a bunch of different guides, courses out there, and it's super easy to get overwhelmed with the amount of information that is on the internet. After working with hundreds of founders and CEOs alike, I think I've pretty much gotten this down to a science. So if I knew nothing I do now and I had to start from scratch again, this is all exactly what I would do. Which is why in today's video, I'm going to be giving you everything step by step. We're going to be covering what you need to do, the tools that you need to use, the resources that you need to learn from, the principles that you should follow in order to get the most out of your automations, and of course, some exciting bonus stuff at the end. So let's hop into it. Step 1 is mapping the empire. The most important thing about automations is knowing what you want to automate in the first place. If you don't know what you want to automate, it's a lot harder to start because there's no clear starting point. And I'm not talking about what you want to automate. I'm talking about what's going to provide the most value to your business. The best way to do this is what I call mapping the empire. In other words, it's a company brain. Now, I actually got this from a buddy of mine, Tony at the Ops Kings, so kudos to him, but it's an incredibly amazing way to figure out where you need to automate inside of your business. What you'll want to do here is take note of as many of your business's internal processes as possible, and you want to store them in one giant board. It can be like a Miro board or a Lucid chart, anything that allows you to build some kind of visualized flow. And you can even break them down by department: sales, customer success, marketing, the list goes on. You can then create flowcharts around every single task that your team is doing within those departments. This gives you kind of a bird's eye view of what exactly is going on inside of your company. Now, you don't have to do this all at once, so don't just spend the next 12, 15 hours working on this company board. Just get the most important stuff, the first stuff that comes to mind, down on that company board first. The reasoning behind this is that having a visual for these things is incredibly useful for, figuring out the logic for the automations later on, and also identifying different pieces of the process that might be a little bit redundant or just plain unnecessary. So that being said, I'm sure there's at least a few big things on your mind. To start out with, map those first. Step 2 is plugging the leaks. All right, great. So you've built this giant empire, amazing. Of course, now you've got corrupt officials that are siphoning money, except instead of money in this case, it's your time. As humans, we like to convince ourselves that we're actually doing a lot, when in reality, the case is often not as flattering. What you just told your wife was a 12-hour workday was really 4 hours of you doing some work and then kind of just goofing off. We might be doing a lot of work, but we're not actually moving the needle in the business. Now, the key to solving this is called a time audit. What you're going to do is head to the Google Chrome store and you're going to get an extension called Clockify. Now, Clockify is a time tracking software, and over the next 72 hours, you're going to track every single little piece of work that you do inside of your business. From talking to Susan over at the copier to sitting down and writing emails. Every single thing you do related to work. At the end of that 72 hours, not only are you going to have a good idea of how much you actually work, but you're also going to have a great idea of the quality of that work and where most of your time is going. What we're looking for here is activities that fit the following criteria. First and foremost, the cadence. So you either do these activities on a daily basis, weekly basis, or perhaps, if it's a really big one, even on a monthly basis. The point is, you're doing this task consistently. Second, we're looking at the ROI of that specific activity. What value is it providing to your business? Is this a task that's absolutely necessary to the business? Or is it something that you're doing that's more of a productive procrastination type of thing? We're looking for things that are necessary but are also energy drainers. I'm talking about scraping leads, sending cold outreach, scripting content even potentially. The list goes on. The main thing here is that we're looking for low-hanging fruit. Now, don't worry, we'll eventually build out those super crazy automations, but we want to tackle the small doables first. This will give us momentum to work into the bigger systems. We want to tackle these small guys first. Now, step 3 is learning to automate. Okay, cool. So we have our company brain. We know what we're looking to automate. Now it's time to actually learn the skill. Most people will head straight to a website like Zapier, which isn't a bad first choice if you're not really tech savvy or you don't have any experience automating in the first place. But I actually recommend people go to make.com. Now, Make is a little bit more complex in the technical side of things. There's a bit more of a learning curve, but it's significantly cheaper than Zapier. You're going to be paying about $10.59 a month for the core plan, which will net you about 10,000 operations compared to Zapier's 750 tasks. Now, they're not exactly the same thing, but the point is, it's significantly cheaper. Once you've signed up and you're all good to go, Make actually has a free course at academy.make.com, and it'll teach you everything you need to know about no-code automations, from learning how to use the software itself to actually making API calls or, functions for formatting data, whatever the case might be. Next, I recommend exploring a tool like Airtable instead of Google Sheets. Now, Airtable is something that I've talked about a lot in the past on this channel, and it's because of its ability to really be anything that you need for your team. You have custom forms, you have custom interfaces, analytics dashboards, the tables can easily be interlinked. You also have internal automations, and because of all of these different features, Airtable can easily be turned into almost like a custom internal SaaS for your team. Now, Airtable is really cool because it can really turn into anything that you might need for your team. You can use it as a CRM, content management base, client success base, really whatever fits your needs at the time. Finally, I'd recommend learning how to effectively use and prompt an AI model. It's automations. Obviously, you're going to be using AI in there at some point, and learning how to prompt effectively is key to making these systems work really, really well. A great free resource that I recommend is actually a website called promptingguide.ai. It's completely free. It'll take you through a bunch of different prompting techniques that you can use to get the output that you're looking for. By far, the most important thing here, though, is really make.com and going through their free course. So make sure you do that, and you will be in a very, very good position. If you want to fast track the entire process as well, you could also join our school group, where you'll be learning how to build these automations for yourself in actual real world use cases that I've used for my clients and myself along the way. Now, our main focus is around content systems. So if you're a founder or a CEO who's looking to expand your reach and grow your personal brand, create more content, then this is definitely the group for you. Definitely hop it. You can check out the link down in the first pinned comment, or in the you can check out the link in the first link in the description, or in the first pinned comment down below. Now, finally, we have the principles. These are great do's and don'ts that I have when it comes to actually creating automations and building systems for your business. Following these will ensure that you don't waste a crap ton of time on things that you don't need to do. First and foremost, think big and start small. You don't have to get it done all in one go. You don't have to have it exactly right. Chances are, after you build the system, you're going to make changes. And businesses also change as they scale and they get bigger. Processes change. You change things to handle more clients. Don't try to get it all right on the first go. Just get something working, start saving some time. That leads me into the second principle, which is not overcomplicating things. Most people have this tendency to take a really simple process that might be, sending a Slack notification, and it's just too easy. The human brain has this weird way of saying it needs to be difficult in order to actually, feel good about accomplishing this thing. So they take this really, really simple process and they turn it into this giant, blown out of proportion, flow chart and automation, and it's this crazy complex thing. The problem with this is these systems often are not scalable. It looks good, visually. You're like, yeah, I fucking built that. But it's not actually scalable. And more often than not, you start running into a bunch of errors, it creates issues in the business, and it holds people behind more than it does actually help. So the point is, for every single module that you have in your automation, there should be a very specific purpose for that module. This kind of leads me into the third one, which I kind of already did, which is prioritizing ROI over complexity and fancy features. Focus on what's going to provide the most value for the least amount of effort that you spend creating the system. The more you can do that, the happier you're going to be. And finally, I want you to push yourself. Don't let the computer win. One of the biggest things with technology is people have this tendency to just kind of give up when things get hard. I will promise you right now that there is always a way. The only limitation here is genuinely your creativity, and that's not supposed to be some use your creativity like type thing. It's genuinely true. I've never had an automated system where it's like genuinely just not possible to build something unless the software you're working with is just not possible in their API. There are cases where it's just not possible with the software, but there are always alternatives, right? So definitely don't let the computer win. With all of that being said, I do have one more thing for you guys. Today, you've been given a clear map on how you can actually begin learning to create automations and automating your business internally in a way that is meaningful and actually drives value. This video covers some of the higher level strategies that I've implemented with hundreds of founders and CEOs alike, and that has worked really well for myself as well. So take all of these thoughts, apply them to your own automation strategy and your own systems. I'd love to hear how it goes down in the comments as well. I'd love to hear personally how it goes. Of course, there are a lot of things I couldn't cover, like the exact automation templates or systems that we use for ourselves and our clients. So if you want access to those, as well as a community of others, and you want to fast track the process of learning automation and actually using it in a way that's going to grow your business and grow your personal brand and allow you to create more content in less time, then click the first link in the description. There you'll be taken directly to our school group, the Systemized Creator. And this is actually something new that I'm just launching. So for a limited time, for the first 10 people who join, it's going to be 20% off lifetime. So make sure you hop on it quickly, and I hope to see you in there. But otherwise, Anyways, guys, with that being said, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content from me, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another upload. And with all this being said, I will see you guys later. Peace.